Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome. Today's topic is John Zuck's letters, 1915 to 1922. John Zuck was the grandson of Tom Zuck, who fought in the Civil War. He was the nephew of Nettie Zuck, and the brother of Gertrude Zuck Ray and Helen Zuck Lacey and other siblings. He was the father of John Clark Zuck, Jim Zuck, and George Ann Zuck Cummings. And these letters were written to his girlfriend, Nell Clark, and later wife, Nell Clark Zuck. John Zuck is one of the people I admire most in our family because of his philosophy to be happy no matter what life threw at him. I think he had the right attitude. The letters in this talk were written when John was in his early 20s, away on work. The places he wrote from included such exotic locations as Dayton, Bucyrus, and Tiffin, Ohio, as well as Kalamazoo, Michigan, Edinburgh, Indiana, and Dallas, Texas. In the first letter, Nell was a senior in high school, set to graduate in 3 months, and John referred to her as, quote, my little schoolgirl. These letters are very special and take us back to the good old days when folks enjoyed the simple pleasures of life, like squirrel hunting and fishing for turtles. John expressed the belief that squirrels were a wonderful food for anyone with a health problem. How John missed his dear Nell those many years ago. The Phillips, John P. Breen, manager, Dayton, Ohio, March 26, 1915. Dear Nell, I arrived safe and sane and feel fine this morning. This is the reason I am going to drop you a few lines. I don't mean because I feel fine that I'm going to write, but when I feel good, I think you ought to listen to me. You don't want to listen to me when I don't feel good. Well, you know why. I hope you are well and have all of your lessons. Now you must be good in school today, my little schoolgirl, and not make the teachers scold you. I just see you going over the top of the hill this morning with a big armful of books under your arm, and myself going to high school, not here in Dayton on business. This isn't a bad place at all. In fact, I think it would be a nice place to live. They have a new style here I must tell you about. Everybody here, both old and young, girls and boys, roller skate, roller skate, roller skate, roller skate. You see middle-aged people even with skates on, and the whole town is the rink. The first thing I noticed on arriving was about 4 girls and 4 fellows coming down the sidewalk on skates, with their arms around each other, and just having a high old time. You even see men skating to work. Now how is that for some fad? I don't think it will ever come to Marion, though. Gee, we had an awful ride over here. The train didn't go any faster than some old switch engine, and we never got here until 8:50. So we didn't get to go to a show, but came right over to the hotel and found our rooms and made ourselves to home. After that, we walked around a while and looked the town over. Then we came back to the hotel and turned in. I think I shall stay until sometime Saturday, so I won't get to see you until Sunday. I hope you have a good time tonight, and be very careful not to overindulge, because you will feel the effects of it for a couple of days then, and you won't be clear over it Sunday, and I don't want you to feel that way then. I suppose, though, you will stay at Lucille's until Saturday night, so undoubtedly you won't get this until Saturday night or Sunday, so it won't do me any good to try and give you instructions. Well, dear, I hope you are not mad at me for the actions Friday. I acted like some old grouch, but well, it won't be of any use to explain, so I'm not going to. I must stop for this time, dearie, so goodbye. Yours, John Zuck. The next letter is 3 years later. The Elks Club, Marion, Ohio, Monday noon, May 27th, 1918. Dearest Nell, as you said, I received both of your letters this noon. Right again. Well, I'll take my hat off to you. You are always right. Did you say that guy was some relations to someone that owned the famous Boston stores? Well, getting better fast associating with Jews and wops. Ahem. How does pool playing go? I suppose it is great. I've not seen Paul since last week, so I'm not sure whether we will get to come over in the Oldsmobile or not, but I'll be there Sunday, rain or shine, so you can prepare for a big crowd. Feel fine. Never was better. I hope you are the same. Well, I got canned Saturday and hired back this morning at more money than I got before. I will call Paul and Martha up about Thursday if I do not get over that way, so we'll let you know before the last of the week if there is any chance. I stayed at home all day yesterday and rested, played croquet in the afternoon a while. I certainly do miss you, dear, and especially on Sunday night. Last evening seemed like a year to me. Well, now about that joke you inquired about. I haven't the slightest idea what it could be unless it was a little joke the UCT pulled off, and that is a secret. I'll write you every day from now. Would have written yesterday, but I wanted to hear from you first, so did not. It will be all right about the maid if she doesn't flirt with the mailman, milk or iceman. I have more trouble worrying about that, but I guess that is what one has to pay for beauty. Dear, if I could just steal one little kiss, I would feel lots better this afternoon, but I guess I must wait until Sunday. Do you think you will come back Sunday? I wish you would. Well, we'll write again tomorrow. With all my love, I beg to remain yours, John Zuck. The Shawhan Hotel, T.J. Allman, property, Tiffin, Ohio, May 28, 1918. Dear Nell, 8:15 p.m. and just arrived in town. You must have been talking about me today, for my ears are ringing like the dickens. Hope you're feeling fine this evening. I certainly am catching up on my sleep. Last evening I went home about 5, eat supper and laid on the porch swing and went to sleep and never awoke until 10 o'clock. And then I went to bed and slept until 6:30 this morning. How's that? It is raining here and looks like it must be over where you are, dearest. Wish I could be there a while and see. I hope it does not rain any more this week, so it'll be nice the end of the week if we get to take that trip. I seen Pearl this morning, and I asked her to come over the last of the week and then ride over with Paul and Martha, and I, if they go. Gertrude went to work at Bucyrus Monday morning and is rooming at Pearl's. I guess that is taking things in my own hands about asking Pearl to come along Sunday, isn't it? But dear, you know, she said she just got so lonesome at times, and I didn't think you would care. Will you? I will come over the first of the week on the train if this little trip doesn't materialize, maybe about Friday p.m. on the 420. As soon as I find out, I will let you know. You must be careful, dear, and don't work too hard, and do not fight with Arthur. We'll write again tomorrow, so we'll stop this time. With love, yours, John Zuck. Marion, Ohio, June 4th, 1918. My dearest Nell, arrived home tired and feeling somewhere of dissatisfaction still stalking with me. There was a letter at home waiting for me from the War Department, notifying me to appear before the draft board June 6th, prepared to journey to Lima and take another physical examination. This is during the First World War. So I probably will get to see you again Thursday. If I had known that I would be ahead, if I had stayed a couple of days longer. This pen I am writing with is certainly on the bum, so excuse the scratching. I wish, dear, we could go someplace and just live like we have the last few days. I certainly did enjoy myself. I forgot to wave when I got on the car. The old thing jerks so we'll do my waving now. XXXXX. We'll write again tomorrow, so goodbye, dear, for this time. Your very own John. P.S. More love than ever before. Marion, Ohio, June 9th, 1918. Dear Nell, this is Sunday night, and I suppose you are wondering why I did not write sooner. But you would not get a letter mailed Saturday anyway, so I thought I would wait until this evening to write, so that I would have something nice to occupy this long, hot evening. I heard from my examination Saturday afternoon, and they passed me. That is, they put me in the first class, but in Group B, which means that I have a physical defect that could not be cured. So I do not know now what they will do with me. I seen the draft clerk Saturday, and she said that I would not be called in the June draft. That is that much consultation anyway. Be sure and let me know, dear, when you are coming home so that I can meet the train. If you are not coming Monday night, I think I'll go to Bucyrus Tuesday morning and go to work. I can go back and forth every evening in an automobile, about as cheap as staying up there if I get in, and I think I will do that. I suppose this has been a long day to you and Ruth if you had to stay at home all day. It might be if I got in the American blank that I would get exempt. Am going to try anyway, since it is impossible for me to enlist. Be sure and try Be sure and write tomorrow and come home a few days this week anyway. If you get tired of staying at home, I will buy you a ticket back to Lima, Ohio again. I've given up that auto trip for your sake, Nell. Think I had better work if I can. Well, goodbye until I see you Monday. Yours, John. Kalamazoo, Michigan, June 20th, 1918. Dearest Nell, I just returned from the prettiest motor trip that I have ever had. We left Kalamazoo about 1 o'clock and motored to Battle Creek. This is the most picturesque country one could imagine. It is a little hilly, and in the valleys you find either a lake or a very pretty little stream. The water in the lakes is just as blue as the sky on a real clear day, and in the streams just as clear as a looking glass. All the water is as cold as ice, and I certainly got my fill of good, clear, ice-cold water. It hasn't that grimy taste that our water at home has in Marion, Ohio. Well, from Battle Creek we went to Camp Custer about 10 miles south, and it is certainly some place. I went through the Red Cross room and had the honor of registering as a visitor. It was certainly a fine sight to see those thousands of soldiers. I think they said there was between 50 and 65,000 of them there today. The 85th Division was preparing to leave for France in a short time. From Camp Custer, then, we went to Gull Lake, about 15 miles north of Battle Creek, and had a picnic supper and a fishing party, but did not catch any fish that amounted to anything. The lake is the largest one in central Michigan and one of the prettiest. I wish, dearest, that you and I could have taken a boat ride this evening. I was fine on the water at sunset, and I thought of you, Nell, so much. Is Ruth still at the hospital? I see we will have to take a motoring trip up through here someday. I do hope that you do get over having the blues. If you should go to Marion, let me know in time so that I do not send any mail to Lima, Ohio. I wish, though, you would stay in Lima until I get home, if that is possible. Hope this will find you in the best of spirits, and I wish I could see you for about an hour tonight and steal a nice kiss. We'll close this time. Yours, John. P.S. It was stupid of me to write blank court on that envelope, but I am finding that I need a little brushing up on spelling. So if I have made any mistakes, tell me about them. Good night, my own dearest Nell. Wish you a good, sound sleep. Kalamazoo, Michigan, June 22, 1918. Dear Nell, Saturday noon, and I thought you were going to write to me often. Here I have been here all week and only received one letter. Of course, I know that was kind of you to write me, but if you are short of ink, why use a pencil? I think we will leave here about Monday or Tuesday, so when you receive this letter, do not write until I send you my other address. I'm certainly having a fine time. My uncle and I went fishing again yesterday and stayed until 11 o'clock. The water was very rough. I know you would not have liked it at all, but that did not make any difference. We rode right out in it, and it was sure great sport to see the boat rock. I didn't any more than get my pole in the water until splash, a big bass jumped at it. Well, we rocked around then for a couple of hours without another bite, when finally a big turtle did have some fun catching it. I did not know that a turtle could swim so fast. Have you heard from Alan? I am not going any place today, just stay around the house and read and think of you, dear. If I don't get a letter this afternoon, I will feel very lonesome. I'm sure if you only knew how many times I have read that one letter you wrote, I'm sure you would write more often. Well, we caught 20 nice channel cats before we quit. The lake got so rough that we had better stop, and it was certainly a long 2 miles before I finally rode back to the landing. We'll close for this time with much love and many thoughts. Yours, John. Edinburgh, Indiana, June 30th, 1918. Dear Nell, Sunday morning, and I am just getting ready to eat a by-country dinner. We're staying at my uncle's cousin, about 6 miles east of Edinburgh. We were over to town this morning in the car to see if there was any mail, and I walked down to look in the mailbox along the road myself to see if they didn't overlook a letter. I thought probably there might be a letter, but I suppose you have been on wit's end about Ruth. Please write as soon as you receive this and tell me how she is, as I just can't get her off my mind. How are you feeling? And how long are you going to stay at Lima? I mailed you a letter Thursday morning from Wolf Lake, and I bet you had some time getting it, for I sent it to Bucyrus. I'm going to take a chance at this one and send this one to Lima. We left Wolf Lake Saturday morning early and came through Fort Wayne. Maybe, dear, the Erie didn't look good when we crossed the tracks at Huntington. I just wanted to jump on the train and come to Lima so bad. From Huntington we came on down through Anderson and Indianapolis, and from there to Edinburgh, about 30 miles. So when you write me, address it care of Miss Amanda Reidenbaugh, Edinburgh, Indiana, RR3, and I will get it quicker. I have not received a word from anyone since the letter you wrote last Sunday at Bucyrus. My aunt said on a card to grandmother that you and your father have been called to Lima, and maybe now I haven't been anxious to hear. So don't forget to write a big long letter every day after you get this until about next Friday, for I think we will leave here about next Monday or Tuesday, 7th or 8th of July. I'll be so glad to get back and see you, Nell. I wish you could get in on some of these fine eats that we are having. We are going to help them put up some hay tomorrow if it doesn't rain before then, and if it rains we will go squirrel hunting. We had some squirrel for supper last night, and they were certainly good. I bet they would taste fine to Ruth, for they are so good for anyone that is ill. If you go to Marion this week, call up my mother and tell her that you heard from me. Will you, dear? I would write, but I can't get any more paper until I go to town tomorrow. The kids at Wolf Lake, I guess, went south with my stationery. They had 2 little boys that had anything beat that I have ever seen, just into everything. I still have this pencil, so you will have to overlook this scribbling this time. With much love and many kisses for my own dearest little girl, yours, John. P.S. Please write as soon as you get this and let me know for sure where you are. Nineveh, Indiana, July 2nd, 1918. Dear Nell, Tuesday, 10:10 p.m., and I'm just getting ready to turn in for the night. They do not go to Wilson's this time, as they call it here, so that makes it only 9:10. I believe I helped make hay today, and they put my uncle and I up in the barn, and believe me, it was hot. I tell you, I am tired tonight. We finished work about 5 o'clock, and one of the boys had to take the help over to Edinburgh. So I rode along and got shaved, and I wish you could have seen me. It was the first time I got shaved since last Wednesday, and I certainly did have to brush up courage to ask that barber to shave me. Well, I haven't heard a word from anyone since I received the letter you wrote me from Bucyrus, so I guess no one thinks anything of me. At least not enough to write. We'll be home next Tuesday or Wednesday. My grandmother got a letter from Aunt Edith today, and she said that Ruth was improving, so that takes some worry off my mind. I wrote you a letter last night and laid it here on the library table, and when I went to get it this morning, do you know I couldn't find it, high no low. We just looked the house over, and it was no place to be found. So it is beyond me what became of it. I do wish so much that I could see you, dearest, just tonight, but I only have another week to wait. We are going down to Evansville Thursday, and we'll be back Saturday, so send my mail here, and I will get it when I get back. I send all my love and many kisses, yours, John. Nineveh, Indiana, care of Miss Amanda Reidenbaugh. Nineveh, Indiana, July 3rd, 1918. Dear Nell, well, today has certainly been a hot day. My uncle and I have been hunting squirrel all day, and believe me, I sweat some. I feel lucky in being able to write this tonight. This afternoon, about 5 o'clock, we were about 10 miles south of here in very hilly country. My uncle said as we were coming over a hill, "Now we want to find this fence that runs along the woods, and then we won't have any trouble finding our way back to the house where we parked the car." When we came to the fence, Uncle John turned one way and I turned the other. Well, I thought he'd probably seen a squirrel over there, and sure enough, in a few minutes I heard him shoot, so I kept on going. The woods did not look very familiar, but I was sure we followed the fence, so I kept on going. After I had gone about 5 miles, the fence stopped, and I wonder where in the world am I? Now I tell you, Nell, I was scared. Well, I turned around and followed the fence back, but you know I couldn't even find the way back to where I started. So I walked over to a big hill and prepared to camp for the night. Well, I got some of the sweat wiped off and kind of got my wind, and it was pitch dark. I heard my uncle then blow his auto horn, and it sounded like it was It was away down in Dixie, but I beat it then in that direction as fast as I could. When I got down in a deep hollow, I stopped to see if I couldn't hear the horn, but no, nothing doing. Couldn't hear it at all, but I kept on going until I got up on another hill, and I could hear the horn again, and in that way I finally got back. I'm awfully tired tonight and lonely, dear, but each day makes it that much less that I have to wait until I get to see you, Nell, so I am thankful for that. I have not heard a word yet, so if you can possibly spare a few minutes, write me, will you? I'm awfully sleepy and tired, so we'll stop this time. I send my love and many kisses, and will see you soon. Yours, John. P.S. I sent the other letters to Lima, but have a hunch to send this to Marion. Nineveh, Indiana, care of Miss Amanda Reidenbaugh. The Deal House, Keenan Fitzpatrick, Bucyrus, Ohio, August 15th, 1918. My own dearest Nell, it is 7:30 and I just got out of the barber shop. It takes that long for me to get home and cleaned up and my supper. I just kind of like my job. Of course, it is somewhat strange for me to be working, but I believe it will go better from now on. I'm staying at Beale's. My father and I have the same room, and it is a real nice one, too. We'll be home Saturday noon, and I hope I find you in good cheer with those nice red cheeks, dear. I see Ted almost every day, but the only time I have seen Pearl was Wednesday noon, and she waved at me when I was going to work. I send all my love, and sure do miss you, Nell, in the evening. We'll see you Saturday night. Yours, John. P.S. I'm going right out to my room and go to bed as I am very tired. Jefferson Hotel, opposite New Union Station in Ferris Plaza, Dallas, Texas. May 8, 1922. Dear Nell and John Clark, Saturday evening we left Dallas on the Cathy Flyer and arrived at San Antonio, Texas about 8 o'clock a.m. So we spent Sunday over 1,500 miles from home. I sent you a number of folders showing some of the scenery, and it was certainly a beautiful old city. We got back to Dallas, Texas, 7:30 a.m. this morning, and I got your letter and Mother's and was sure glad to get them. I received your Wednesday's letter Saturday evening. I certainly wish you could have seen San Antonio with us, as I haven't seen more beautiful scenery anywhere. Beautiful Japanese sunken gardens and parks. Can tell you all about it when I get home. Answering your questions regarding my socks and etc., you do not need to bother, as we can put our laundry in the box and get it next morning we get up. In regard to the machine, I have no key, but the water is out of the radiation. If anyone wants to use the car, tell them to look it over good first. I'm enclosing some pictures of our gang and will send you some more tomorrow, which we took at San Antonio. According to dope that is circulating around the hotel this morning, they will try to end this convention by next Saturday. We'll wire you as soon as we start home so no mail will go astray. Hope it does end Saturday, as I am ready to start home now. If it does end Saturday, we ought to be able to get our money and leave Sunday. Well, it is time to get breakfast, so we'll end and we'll write again this evening. Love and lots of kisses for you and John Clark. Love, John. The Gem City Insurance Company, Dayton, Ohio, Marion, Ohio. Undated and incomplete. Second page, continued from part 1. My uncle, though, is an obstinate chap, and this morning he had his mind made up that we were in a hurry to get those turtles that were waiting for us. I wish you could help me enjoy that soup tomorrow. While we were catching those wily beasts, we could hear the band playing over the picnic grounds, and my mind was there all day thinking probably you was there. Well, dear, thanking you advance for the favor of permitting me to come tomorrow, I will close. Hoping that I will have the above pleasure granted me, I beg to remain yours forever, John. P.S. Well, the fellows have gone, so maybe I can write in peace, so I will tell you what I neglected to mention before. You remember what I have told you, I will not fill it in here to avoid your embarrassment, if someone should by chance read this scribbling. Steve addressed this envelope on the typewriter, another bad point you must overlook. I don't seem able to make this pen act right tonight. I guess it must be because I am so lovesick. Well, darling, hoping to see you then tomorrow night. Yours, John. I have something I want to tell you awfully bad tomorrow. Well, good night. There is a free-for-all fight down here in the alley in front of that blamed saloon. I am going right home, and my conduct is of the best, so don't think anything of it. 8:30 p.m. Now we have a comment from my father, John S. Ray. Thank you for ZFMC 61. John and Nell were pretty good students in high school, although John had some trouble with algebra. He also had some trouble with spelling. He spelled rough, R-U-F-F. He was a great fisherman. We caught 20 nice channel cats before we quit. Big squirrel hunter and eater. Very interesting that John and Grandpa Zuck were traveling and apparently working together in Bucyrus, Ohio. The pictures on the front page of ZFMC 61 are just great. Keep up the good work. Love, Dad. John S. Ray, Rocky River, Ohio. Well, that concludes our talk tonight about the letters of John Zuck, 1915 to 1922. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.